Welcome in to the Dynasty Deal Show. I'm Ty Declare 44. I am joined by Scott at Charles Chill FFB and by Shane at Shane Says FF on X. Welcome in. Friday Night Deal Show, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're here every week. If you're not here live, you can get your stuff in early. These streams drop early. But to get access, you have to be part of the Trades and Chill tier. $3.99 a month US. Sign up. You get access to Destination Chill, Trinity Show, Dynasty Deal Show, emojis, and more. Fellas, we got some trades to hit. It is the Week 8 trade debate. We are going to debate some trades. Maybe we'll have some opposing views on this thing. We got to choose some directions now. But I got one rule. You hear this lovely little sounder. That means we got to move on because we're at that point, fellas, where we got more than enough trades rolling in to really hit as many as we can. Let's start with a little strategy cue. I'm going to start with you here, Scott. So Alec Malone, 8229 strategy Q. Is it league malpractice to start cutting starting quarterbacks in a race for 101 in a max 0.4 situation? So he's unable to get anything, not even fab, for guys like Mariota, Gabriel on a few of his tanking teams. Cheers, points shedding season. So Scott, as the train conductor of the any quarterback on a two deep strategy, we've seen it a little bit at least at the start of the year, right? It was really hard to move these quarterbacks for anything. Feels like now that we're in bye week territory, people are more willing to buy, but it looks like, Alec is running up against it where he really can't get anything. Are you just going to start cutting quarterbacks if you need to really shed those points off your roster?
Yeah, I mean, first answer without really diving into some of the questions I would ask is no. Only because I probably value having those guys, honestly, especially somebody like Gabriel that's just starting his career, but even Mariota. Like, he's been a good backup for a while now. So, I don't want to just let other people have them for free. I would have to know, how close are you to the 101? How many teams are you racing with? I think a lot of teams probably overestimate how easy or hard it is to get into that 101 or 102 spot. I was just checking a couple of my leagues this week where I'm at the bottom. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm looking at my record. I'm 1-13. I'm cooking. Dude, I'm 150 points away from the next best team in potential points. Like, I'm not going to catch them. I don't know how they have that many fewer points than me when their record was 2-12. And I'm like, man, I have to have the 101. Nope, I don't. And I'm way below them in potential points. And honestly, that is because of my roster construction. I'm largely holding some things that score some points with hopes that I can grind out a third or a fourth or whatever it might be. So if you're too far gone like that, I'm not probably cutting these backup quarterbacks. Now, if we're talking, man, there's especially if it's like a head-to-head game, because I am in some leagues where it's head-to-head, and that game where you play that other tanker, you got to find a way to lose without tanking. You know what I mean? And if you just have no quarterbacks to play, then I can't start a starting quarterback. But if you have, a Dalton or a Mariota, you probably got to throw them in. And Shane's been in those situations, man. You score like 70 points, you can lose because the other team can put up like a 30. You know what I mean? So it's circumstantial. I don't think every league I would cut them. If you're that desperate and you really think this move gets you to the 101, then I'm not going to say no. And the league can't tell you no. You've tried. You've put them out there. Dollar fab, a fourth. A 28 fourth. I mean, that little of value, I'm fine doing it. But otherwise, no, I don't want to do this.
Shane, you in lockstep there? I don't know how much you prioritize quarterbacks on your build. But
absolutely cut the shit out of people. You don't want to trade for him. I'm trying to get to the 101. You don't like it. You feel like I'm ruining the league. You can lick me in special areas. You should have sent an offer. All the players are available. You choose not to trade for him. I don't care. I'll cut them. These are not foundational pieces. In Carson Wentz's situation specifically, that might be a dude that never gets to start again after what we've seen. But no, I'll absolutely cut those players.
Nor does his points hurt you either. He scored like 8 points, so you'd have been better off just having him. He doesn't hurt your potential.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the scoring in the league, right? I mean, it wasn't good no matter where you looked, but he gave me, I think he gave me 4.5 points in one league, 13.5 in the other. I don't know what the criteria was there, the difference. But no, if I have those players available, I'm trying to get to the bottom. No one's giving me anything for him. I'm letting them go. I'm not doing all the legwork in that situation either. Like here's an AI message. These players are available. You have till tomorrow, and then I'm cutting them. And then you can fight over them, like, for fab. Good luck.
Yeah. Woo Bear, I'm going to steer clear of Shane's special areas myself, but it's funny because I feel like this week I've been really going out to try to buy some backup quarterbacks, especially on these best ball teams where I might have an injury or two or a bye week or two. And Alec, I swear, I'm getting asked to throw in Deshaun Watson a second and a third just to get like a Tyrod. Like it is like in my experience, it's actually costed a lot more. Not something I'm trying to pay, but some people are asking that price. So the fact that you can't get anything for those guys, that's something else. But if that's what your league is telling you, yeah, and maybe cutting them is the way to get that better pick. But we appreciate the question and we appreciate all the people who are here live. So Woo Bear's here. We got Husker here. We got Diaz. We got Sean. We got all the people here. So we appreciate y'all. Shane, 12-team Superflex start 10. You said in a late third and fourth for Stevenson.
Ramondre?
Yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't we? Look, we've seen Ramondre can never get benched. He's never getting benched. I've already talked about the things that he would need to do to get benched, and it would apparently be obscene. Some people like videos about that stuff, but that's another story. Yeah, I'll definitely give up a third and a fourth for Ramondre. It's a starting running back.
Right.
And it's not even one of those starting running backs that like I know is going to get ethered in 2 weeks, right? Like I was going to say Kamani Vidal, except O'Marion Hampton's severely injured apparently, but you know what I mean? It's not a running back that's not going to be a starter in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's not just a spot start. I'm going to get multiple starts out of this guy. Unless nothing, there's no way that he won't continue to be the starter there. So yeah, solid. Gimme.
Yeah. What are you missing out on with a third and a fourth? Scott, do you have like 30 seconds on? Because I'm assuming the crux of this question is it's not an if, but when Hampton, gets that opportunity and takes over and stops messing around with Vrabel's wife, like that's when he'll take over. I assume like that's what this question is like. How long is this ride going to last?
It could last only one more game. It could last 2 more years. We don't know. But the beauty of this price is it doesn't matter. You know what I get? Even if Ramondre Stevenson is benched tomorrow and never gets more than 10 opportunities in a game until everybody else gets injured in his backfield, it's still worth buying this type of player that has a history, that has a contract, that's going to be in the NFL probably 3, 4, 5 more years before he fades out entirely. But I would pay this for the residual value of Ramondre. Not the Ramondre I could maybe start the rest of the season. This is just to have him on my roster for the next couple of years. I would pay this price. Like this is the kind of deal that, it looks good now because you can start him. You know when this also looks good? Like midway through next year when he stumbles across being a starter for 2 weeks and you're like, damn, man, I kind of wish I had more of him just laying around. Like this is like another Rico Dowdle last year. You know what I mean? If you could have bought Dowdle for this price last year, it might have been, he'll never start again. And then here we are. A year later, same type of thing happens. So these are the types of running backs that ultimately are very valuable once you have them. But to your point about the backs before, Ty, they're very hard to get when you want them at the time when you need them. Oh, man, I can't give up Ramondre. I need at least a second, maybe 2. And that's just because you want him. There's probably no other market.
Right. Absolutely. No, but for that price, man, you are not missing out on much. So that is a buy-in. Ride it till the wheels fall off if you need to. But we appreciate you, Sean. Let's go to Jay Lau, 12 by 11 Superflex, 0.5 PPR and a 0.5 tight end premium. Give Daniel Jones a top 2 pick and a top 2nd round pick, 201 or 202, and a late 27 second. But you get Jalen Hurts and Breece Hall. Shane, your boy Jalen Hurts here. We know we also like some Daniel Jones, a top 2 pick in the first round, a top 2 pick in the second round, another second. Where does it all kind of balance out for Breece and Hurts in a 12 by 11?
So how would you feel if you had Daniel Jones and wouldn't have been Ashton Genty, so an O'Marion Hampton? Is Daniel Jones and O'Marion Hampton for Hurts and Breece? How's that make you feel? Oh, there's a second. Now this year, that second could have been Emeka Ibuka and you'd look like a freaking genius, but it's probably more likely Trey Harris. So I don't know. How would you feel about Trey Harris, O'Marion Hampton, and Daniel Jones for Hurts and Breece? I'm still going to stay with Hurts and Breece. Yeah. Daniel Jones has been really, 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 really good this year. And he's probably going to get a contract there, and he's probably going to be a long-term starter there because everybody that escapes from New York apparently is a really good quarterback. I'm still going with Hurts and Breece though. It's not crazy though. That's that's a deal that, like, if it came across my desk, I'd have to think about it. I wouldn't just out of hand just be like, no, because I do think it seems to be sustainable for Daniel Jones, because it's not like he's doing anything that's just wildly out of the ordinary. So I wouldn't take the deal. I wouldn't take it, but I get it. I like the Hurts and Brees, so actually I would take the deal. But I would understand if you didn't want to be on the other side of that, giving up Jones in the 102 or whatever it is there.
Yeah. I mean, Scott, I know we'd probably want some more context on the team, where all this stuff lies, how it moves the team forward. But also, speaking of getting out of New York, if Brees does get moved, what do you expect his market to do? And like, what are you trying to do with Brees Hall in Dynasty right now?
I mean, if it goes to a certain spot, then I think people will go crazy. But shy from that, like, he's worth nowhere near a top 2 first next year. And I mean, you look at Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts, the difference is 1.2 points per game. Daniel Jones actually has more points, of more than 22 points in a week. But I mean, it's negligible in terms of riding out the short-term production. Obviously, Hurts has had, 4 previous seasons than this where he's been very good. So like, you're probably locking in a good floor with Hurts. So I don't want to pay this though. I bet you my team is probably not that bad with what I have today. And so I'm like really looking for, I guess, a running back that I can say is kind of an anchor, and I'm willing to give up all this draft capital. I'm probably skipping the QB upgrade here and just seeing what I can buy. What can I get with that 102 or that 202? Can I get Ramondre Stevenson for 3rd and save all the draft picks for later? I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not panicking. I don't need to spend a high second, an extra second, and a 102 to get Brees Hall. If I'm willing to live with the difference between Jones and Hurts. If that ends up being 3, 4, 5 points per game through the end of the year, okay. But what if it's only 2? It's just not worth paying that much for a player.
Well, I mean, you're assuming that you're assuming that Daniel Jones is going to maintain a top 7 scoring fantasy season.
You're guessing that he maintains top 7. I could live with like top 10, top 12. But more importantly, I think the big risk here of not doing the deal is in a year, we could be sitting here going, man, I don't know about Daniel Jones. I know what Jalen Hurts is. He's probably going to be Philly's QB for a while. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no interruption. Now, I do think what will happen with Jalen Hurts, eventually there'll be interruption in terms of Shane will still want him. But like, a lot of people will start to be just, he's yesterday's news. You know what I mean? Right. I'm not really excited about him anymore. Like, I could see him going down the road to like the next Kyler, where people are they don't like him. They're done with him, but who cares? If I have him for 10 years of production, then I don't care about that. But that's the risk, right? Is the longevity of like, I could feel really bad about Daniel Jones if something goes south, but doesn't it seem, Ty, that just like it's not going to go. I don't see it going south. You know what I mean? I just don't.
Yeah. It does feel like one of those, like, how tolerant are you to risk or to that, that future insulation that we talk about, which seems to be more and more non-existent, the more we get into Dynasty here. If you are willing to say, hey, week over week, Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts, I'm going to feel the same in 2025. I'll figure it out in 2026. I mean, getting a top 2 pick, a top 2nd, and a 27 second for Brees Hall is a smash. So if you are willing to do that, that is definitely a way to move your team forward. But Scott, if my team is sitting there and like you said, do I need to get the quarterback back in that deal? Because if I have 2 viable quarterbacks, a few backups like a Mariota or a Dalton that I've been able to pick up, or they're sitting there, I'm not really motivated to make that swap, and I'm hopeful that maybe I can get something else out of that versus that deal. But yeah.
Let me ask you this, Ty. Let's say your team is also, because I'm guessing both of these teams, there's a chance they're both pretty good. This is I'm trading with you, and we're both kind of shifting the structure of our assets. You know what I mean? But let's say, does it matter here for you who your QB1 is?
Not like in this particular deal, no.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, if I have, let's say I have like Mahomes and Hurts, I'd do the other side of the deal. You know what I mean? I don't need to have such a strong QB2 if I can basically get Jones back and get all this draft capital. I'm guessing the team that has Brees Hall is not good because they've had Brees Hall. He's more of a, like, what happens if something else breaks with his situation, or he gets traded, or he goes sign somewhere else. Like, that's why you're getting Breece Hall. But I can see the other side. I have some teams where I have like a Mahomes Hurts team or an Allen Hurts team. I'm looking for this type of deal. Oh, you want to let me downgrade and you give me a bunch of extra shit on top of the QB downgrade? I'll do that. So I think it might be some context too. The team with Jones, maybe it's just found money and they're really trying to find an elite, stable quarterback. I get that.
That's not even a maybe. Daniel Jones has found money on any roster he's on. There's absolutely no one that went into the season and went, you know what, Daniel Jones, that's my QB too. I'm good.
I have one, Shane. My only quarterback before the year was Jalen Hurts. And I also had Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, and Daniel Jones. So I've found a way to just get by, but it had Hurts on it too. So
I am old enough to remember because it was this summer when we weren't even sure Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson was going to be the starter there. So if you went into the season thinking that Daniel Jones was going to do anything remotely like this, you should play the lottery because you're freaking psychic. Nope, that's not what psychic is, but whatever. You can tell the future.
Good work, Shane. It's good. No, but to your point though, if you have those two elite quarterback builds, it does preclude you from taking advantage of a secondary quarterback market because you can't actually actualize that value. So if you feel like moving that Hurts off of your team to get into the Daniel Jones, so you can maybe even find different ways to actually use that quarterback 2 spot versus just plugging in the 2 elite guys, again, you're probably going to not feel bad at all plugging in. Like I said, if it's Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, you're fine. But if you want to try to grind that edge some more, like I think like a Diaz, those guys that really want to grind, you can really extract some value there if you're willing to make the right move there. So for J-Lau, if that's you, if you want to grind, getting a early first, early second, 27, and Daniel Jones, I like that. Sweet. Let's move on to Cam Frost, 93. What's up, Cam? 12 team start 11 PPR. It's a vanilla format. This team is Lamar, Stafford, and backups. Bijan, Achane, Aaron Jones, and any running back on a 53. We got CD, Amon-Ra, Nico, Brian Thomas Jr., Cans, and we got Kittle and Jonnu. Trade Nico and Mariota away for Pittman, Henry, and a 27-second belonging to a contender. Nico's got a concussion. Henry, I just have this vision in my head of just King Henry being King Henry down the stretch, and everyone just being like, oh, yep, was fooled again. Early season Henry got me. Shane, 12 by 11 or 12 by 10 PPR, vanilla.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's literally been as long as we've been alive. People have complained about Derrick Henry's production early in the season, and then he rips off multiple 170-yard games down the stretch, and everybody's like, "Oh, next year I'm not going to fall for this. Next year I'm not going to move off of Henry." You will, because he'll be 38 at some point. But look, man, I was thinking about Nico, and he got the sleeper alert that he's out. And one of the people I was looking at moving him for was if I could get Pittman and plus for him. And knowing that Pittman's a little volatile, he's got multiple weeks where he scored 19 or better. And then he's got a couple weeks where he scored less than 10. I think I would be okay with this deal. Mariota doesn't really matter to me, except that, it's an asset that you can use. So I'm fine with this deal. Bijan a change, and look at the rest of this: ARSB, Nico, BTJ. I mean, you're kind of, and this seems absurd to say before the season, right? You're kind of hurting at wide receiver because Nico has been not good, and now he's concussed. BTJ has been not good and needs wrist surgery. So, yeah, I'm good with this deal. Is it probably losing a little bit in dynasty value with Nico? Yes, it absolutely is. But we're also in week 8, and I care less about dynasty value right now than I would in, say, I don't know, the summer.
Right. Scotty tried trading Nico to multiple teams for a first plus a solid wide receiver, and he's gotten declines across the board. So this manager has had more interest than anyone, but he doesn't have any firsts. So Nico and Mariota, send those away for Pittman, Henry, and a 27-second of a contender. How do you feel there?
I'm okay with it. Kind of feels like a team, though, where you already have Bijan and HN, and you're already rolling out the any guys on a 53, and you have Aaron Jones. Like, I don't know. I'm okay with it, mostly because you're having to make a bet on Nico. Like, there's really nothing about his situation that's awesome. And he's injured for this week. So, I mean, I know it's only one game, but it's still one game. You're not going to have him. I don't know your record. I don't know if you need to win this week, but like one game out does matter a little bit. This does feel a little bit, Ty, like I kind of forced a deal here just because I wanted to get a deal done for Nico, and this was the best I could get. This is the team that was interested. That's my only thing. It feels like we're now jamming Henry in a flex, and guess what? Like Henry hasn't been a great flex. Like, if he comes back and he's prime Derrick Henry from last year or previous years, then fine. But there's still a world where he comes back and he's fine as a flex player, but not any better than what are you relegating to your bench, right? Like what I don't want to do is be in a situation where I'm benching one of Aaron Jones and Henry, or now I'm like not trusting Brian Thomas Jr., but I won't trade him instead of Nico. Was there a better market for BTJ? They're just a lot of questions. I'm fine with the deal, but at the same time, like, I don't love the return. The return pieces could be very inflexible, and they better hit your lineup. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with them.
When I'm looking at this team, like I'm seeing Stafford's on bye, BTJ. Yeah, Jay Ryder asks, does BTJ really need wrist surgery? Have you heard anything on that, Scott or Shane?
No, I mean, look, that's just the what's the word I'm looking for?
I thought it was a shoulder or a forearm.
No, he's injured. He injured his shoulder, but his wrist is apparently bothering him, and that's partly why he's not able to catch the ball. Because I think your wrist is important to your hand. I'm not a doctor, but apparently those things go together. But yeah, there's speculation that something's up with his. He needs a QB transplant. Absolutely, he needs Mac Jones, and Mac Jones needs him. Yeah. Wherever Mac Jones goes next year, I hope BTJ follows him. I hope they reunite, and it's a beautiful love story. But now there's just speculation about that. Something's not right with him, clearly.
Okay, gotcha. But looking at this, right? So Stafford out, BTJ out, Nico on bye. This is a move to fill your lineup for week 8. And Scott, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, is what I don't want to do is be in week 10 and all of these guys have returned, and then this deal has maybe relegate these guys. And if I already can't get the kind of return I'm looking for a Nico, what does that say about the rest of the value on my team that's compressed in this wide receiver room? So is it a deal I have to make? No. Is it a deal that maybe wins you this week? Yeah, maybe. But you trade away Nico and Mariota, I assume you have like another quarterback role in there. Otherwise, yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It all comes down to if Henry can be Henry again. But yeah, vanilla format. Yeah, I think I'll keep Nico on this team, man, and I'll figure it out another way. But that's just me. Cool. Boyan, super flex. 12 team start 12. Although I know Boyan's watching the Jays game right now, so he's not live with us. But go Jays. 12 by 12 PPR, 0.15 point per carry and a 1 tight end premium. He's a contender. He received Rice and McCaffrey, and sent away Brian Thomas Jr., Genty, and a 26 first. This team is now Dart, Stafford, Darnold, Shatter, I'm assuming Shador, and Gabriel at quarterback. CMC, Judkins, Marks, Warren, and Cans at running back. We got Lamb, Pickens, Rice, Worthy, Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, Coleman, Thornton, and Arroyo and Gesicki, and more trash at tight end. How did I do? It was a trade with Roy G. Shouts out to Roy G. Scott, on this team, Genty, BTJ, and a first for McCaffrey and Rice.
I got a laugh out of Shatter. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But, man.
You don't like it.
Well, part of me doesn't really care for the receiver upgrade a ton here in a point per carry and in a deep league. It just feels like the receiver position across the league starting every week is going to be pretty wide. There's probably 70 receivers that get started in this league every week because it's a 12 by 12. And so, yeah, it matters to have like an elite receiver. So if you're going to bet on Rice, then he's just going to be top 5, top 8 the rest of the year. And then BTJ does need the wrist surgery or just continues to stink. Like there's probably a first difference between those two. Not a deal, though, where I'm immediately in this format sending out a first and BTJ to get Rashee Rice. And then Genty and McCaffrey is just, that's one of those deals where you know what you're buying when you swap those two. A lot of points this year. Like 12 points per game difference in this. I mean, a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yes.
it's just, put it this way. This is not how I want to use my Genty and my first. And BTJ, yeah, he's not Rashee Rice, but like 2 months ago, people would have gone, I need a first plus Rashee Rice to get BTJ. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Shane? Because this feels like one where I'm living in the moment. This is a YOLO, F it. I could easily say, you know what? I could take Roy's side, still win, and I still like the trade for me. Like, it's not like the players you're giving away are both injured and out for the year and have torn ACLs. Like, they could still produce, and you got a first. So I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, so BTJ, let's assume that I don't know what I'm talking about, and he doesn't need wrist surgery. He just needs a week off, and him and Trevor Lawrence, they go for a boat cruise together, and they rekindle whatever bromance they had prior to giant forehead guy getting there. And Ashton Genty hasn't been the running back one, hasn't been a running back 5, but the dude's giving you somewhere in the neighborhood of like 12 to 20 points every week on a terrible offense. So yeah, could he continue to do that? And BTJ could easily be Rashee Rice, and then you get a free first. I get it though, because you're trying to win right now, and Rashee Rice just came back and scored 2 touchdowns. He's probably not going to do that every game. I say this every time. That would be a record. I don't believe he's going to do that. McCaffrey, it's hard to say anything negative about the guy because he's outscoring quarterbacks. Like, the dude is just insane. So I get it from that perspective. I probably won't make the deal. He's trying to win now, though, right? So again, it's week 8. It's really hard for me to criticize people when they're trying to win. Like, that is the object of the game, right? Is for me to win a league. Because if I win this league, I've just paid my dues for the next, I don't know, 5 years in this league, 4 years in this league, whatever it is. Like, I don't want to undersell winning, right? I know that we're playing Dynasty. I get that. You know, we have a first and Genty. I really do hate giving that up. You did pay too much. I mean, we're just going to put that out there. You overpaid. You 100% overpaid.
And I guess I want to ask you, Ty, is the team strong enough to just make this move? Like, I just gave up a first and I gave up the Dynasty assets. Like, was my team, when I looked at his team, I'll be honest, when I looked at his team, I'm sitting here expecting to see already like 5 hammers. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm a little arrogant now. I can just go get McCaffrey and Rice. Those are the best 2 players from last week. Who cares? Let's just rip them again. But then I look at his team and I'm like, man, you're starting guys like Keon Coleman and Xavier Worthy and Woody Marks. Like, they're fine. But this doesn't look like a team that's 7-0 and already crushing everybody. And I just acquired 2 hammers. It was like, I would have rather just, if I'm like in 6th, 5th place, 4th place, I'd rather just ride out what I already had.
Right. And that's what would come to my mind. It's like, I think this deal assumes that 26 first is going to be late. And when I look at this team, Dart, Stafford, Darnold, Shatter, Gabes, CMC, Judkins, Marks, Warren, Lampick, all these guys, right? Your team is deep enough, but I don't know if it's going to stand up to variance and if you have the right pieces in the right spot. And maybe that's why the move to go and get CMC is what made it happen for you, because you think if you can lock that into your lineup, that's going to win you weeks, and it very well could. I don't think this team was losing at running back between Judkins, the weeks you got out of Marks and Warren, and when you had Genty in the lineup. I do agree CMC is going to score a S-ton more points than Genty year 1. Does that continue? But we'll see. I assume as long as CMC laces him up, he's going to be awesome. And, in the All Gas trade show, Gabe and I were pretty loud about Rashee Rice. And even those deals where you bought Rashee Rice at that like week 6, you were still, if it continues, those are still deals that you could get up to that point. So I don't mind getting into Rice and CMC. I don't know if that's the deal I want to do on this team, and I don't know if I want to give up the first in that deal to do it. Because, Scott, if that was just Rice and McCaffrey for BTJ and Genty, that's a pretty fair deal. It feels like the first is where you lose me.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I see a deal that's a 3 for 2, and I look at the 3 pieces, and they're all pretty strong pieces. It's not like one of them is a throw-in. You know what I mean? I'm looking at deal in a start 12. Like, I don't know. That's just how I play. If you really wanted those 2 players, and especially if you think, hey, I needed 2 hammers, I'm betting on Rice and McCaffrey being the hammers. There's no other way to get hammers in this league. Who knows what else was going through his mind? I just look at this deal like I kind of like the 3. I'll just live with what I have, you know.
Who knows what was going through his mind?
Yeah.
I mean,
all right, look, I mean, we were trying to not be mean. He did give up way too much. Like the more I sit with it, the more I dislike it. It is a whole lot. It is really a whole lot. Like, couldn't I just given up BTJ in a first and gotten?
I can live with the BTJ and Rashee Rice swap. I'm not saying I would take BTJ equivalent to Rice, but that's the part in a deep point per carry league I can live with if I lose. You know what really got abandoned in this deal, Shane, is this is basically saying Ashton Genty's never going to amount to much more than what he is right now. But if somehow his team turns it around, and you could see in a year or two where you're like, he's in the Jonathan Taylor realm where he's the league winner. You know what I mean? You gave up on an asset that probably has at least a 2 more year runway to potentially get to that range. And those are just gold in a point per carry. A running back in their prime that scores points like Genty. The best part about a point per carry running back, you know how Genty scores points right now? A shit ton of touches. Like that's a good precedent to set when you don't have anything else going for him. The efficiency, the touchdowns, the offense, that stuff hopefully will come. But I don't want to give up Genty for it's like Genty or McCaffrey. Think about how wild that would have been 8 weeks ago before the season. Like just crazy.
Yeah. Such out Jay Ryder. That's my trade. You got the Genty BTJ in a first. Good job. And that's what I like about this community, man. They will make moves on either side. We don't have too much groupthink, right? Like we think differently, we play differently, we prioritize different stuff. So that's why I appreciate about this community. But we appreciate you, Boyan, as someone that I know Boyan in real life. I would not want to be in his head either, but I love you, Boyan. Dylan Ebensteiner, 12 team super flex, half PPR and at 0.5 tight end premiums to start 11. It's got Hurts, Lamar, and backups. Gibbs, Kyron, Judkins, Scattaboo, and Pollard. We got Vidal as well. Hopefully you started that Vidal this week. Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Sutton, Wandale. I picked up some Wandale this week. That was you can get Wandale for a second last week. I don't know if you can get him for that this week. Trey Harris, Bowers, Ertz. It's a 6-1 team, second most points for. Trade away Travion Henderson and DJ Moore for Scattaboo, Wandale, Kamani Vidal. Thoughts on moving off Hendo for that on a contender? You get my round of applause and my seal of approval. Scott, how do you feel?
Shane gets this one first.
Shane, how do you feel
this
on this
for Kamani Vidal and Cam Scattaboo?
Look, I mean, I said it on Wednesday on Mannequin Chill. It doesn't really matter that I don't like Scattaboo and that he's not talented. That doesn't matter. He's scoring, right? He's scoring fantasy points right now, and he has resale value. That's what matters. That's all that matters. And then, yeah, you're adding Wandale, who's a good piece. You're adding, I mean, DJ Moore, he's a guy, whatever. But you're adding Wandale, and you're adding Kamani Vidal, who's now had, a 20-point game and a 30-point game in fantasy. So you've got some win right now pieces. So I'm fine with that. Travion Henderson's giving you nothing. You basically got the value of at least a first back for him, which is impressive because, again, he's done absolutely nothing. And there's a lot of leagues where you wouldn't be able to move him for a bunch of usable pieces. So I can't be mad at you. Look, and if you're like me and you don't think Scattaboo's actually any good, you know what you do when this year's over? You sell high on him because people will still want him because they're always going to like him for whatever reason. So you could always resell him at the end of the season. So I'm fine with this deal.
Scott, talk to me about this deal. Talk to me about Travion Henderson. Talk about Wandale, where Neighbors still hasn't had surgery, waiting for swelling to go to whatever the case is. Talk about Wandale going forward as well, and just everything about this deal in front of you.
Yeah, I think Wandale is just one of those guys that, remember all the discourse about Wandale. He was too short. Guys that are 5'8" can't be good, but his profile was really good, right? He was a second-round pick, so like everybody that thought Trey Harris was good or Jaden Higgins were like, Wandale was a second rounder too. He tore his ACL, so he's kind of been off the radar. But I look at the Wandale DJ Moore swap. If you told me you just want to swap those guys, I could give a shit. They're fine to me. They're both startable. Neither of them is going to win my league, but I can probably pencil in 11.5, 12 points from those guys every week. Cool. The more interesting part of the trade is the Henderson for Scattaboo, and you got Vidal. I mean, I think we've talked to people about Henderson or Scadaboo, and it's like, oh, Scadaboo, easily. You know, one's scoring, one's not. They're both running backs. They're both probably not running backs that are going to become rushing champs or dominant forces. So they're only as good as their short-term production, and one has none, and one is about to rip the Eagles a new ass for a second game here in 3 weeks. So when he does maybe Shane will come around.
Dude's going to fumble. He's not talented. He's going to get absolutely shut down and shut up. Stupid jerk off.
But
not you, Scott.
To answer your question, Ty, I think we kind of view Henderson as like, I don't know how much simpler to put it. Unless you think he can still become an elite NFL player, which I think we've played this game long enough that if he was going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, we would have seen something, right? And maybe the light comes on and he becomes that. But like, I'm willing to bet with what we've seen thus far that they're not holding the next Barry Sanders down because they want to play Ramondre Stevenson. So there's questions about, okay, even if he becomes good, define good. You know who's good? Kenneth Walker. You know who's good? Breece Hall. They're good, but you know what? They're not guys where you're like, oh my God, I missed out on the entire smash first 3-4 years of their career. So like, I think that's like a great outcome for Henderson if he ends up somewhere between Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. And that's not something anybody even cares about right now in year 4. So if you just want to treat, I like Scadaboo better because I like his outlook for the next 12 to 18 months, then go for it. Who cares about anything past that? And a free Vidal. You can probably start him another 2 months.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm not overly concerned of what I think Henderson could be long term because there'll be another buying window for Henderson at some point this season. You could probably buy him back from that same team that you traded him for a second at some point this season because he's not playing. And if you wanted to, at the end of the season, trade Cam Scadaboo for Trevion Henderson plus, if you still believe in him. I believe in him long term, but that doesn't stop you from being able to sell him now and then get him back at a later date.
Yeah, 100%. That went. I think something that's really been cemented this year for me is just because you don't get someone in the draft or you miss on someone early, that doesn't mean the window's not going to come. It just feels like a window for Henderson. If you want to get in, you can get in. That was for me with Omari and Hampton. I didn't have any Hampton come out of the draft. I've been able to get about 2 or 3 shares over the last couple of weeks with them going out. A couple swaps that made sense. So just got to keep grinding, everybody. What's up, Lee? What's good, DD fam? What's good, Lee? Savage FF. I'm gonna open this one up to kind of all of us here, if I can find it again. Code Red. I have Bowers, Njoku, Waller on a PPR 0.5 tight end premium start 10 contender. Any cheaper buy options at tight end if I need a spot start this week? So Code Red, someone that I've been picking up in my best ball leagues is Tanner Connor, the backup tight end on Miami with Waller and now with Hill out of the way. On my best ball team, I'm trying to pick him up. Scott, Shane, I don't care really who has an opinion here, but what are some tight end options that you're looking at this week if you need a spot start?
Shane, you got any?
I mean, Julian Hill keeps getting picked up, right?
He's injured.
Oh, Jesus Christmas. Oh, so that's Tanner Connor.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No.
I mean, we're grinding deep when we're going for. The Dolphins are a bottom 5 offense, and we're hitting the third tight end.
The fact that I was that disappointed that Julian Hill's not playing makes me just sad about my life.
You know who's one you should be able to buy, and it depends on the premium. But you know what? If you just have something extra to throw around. Probably Dalton Schultz is the guy nobody likes, but could get 10 targets. And what do you want to pay? I mean, you know what I would be willing to do? Can I add something to David Njoku and get Dalton Schultz and a pick upgrade? Because I mean, what is this? Only 1.5? Like Schultz in a second for Njoku in a third? Because you do something like that? Because I don't care about the value of that second tight end on my team. I can live with Schultz as my backup if Bowers comes back or doesn't come back or misses another game or two. That's not where I need to care about holding the value. This was probably a team you already were not hitting right at tight end. You probably missed most of Darren Waller's points. So that's a guy I can almost just dump in a deal if they want him for free. So
Noah Fant and Cade Otton. Cade Otton's had over 10 fantasy points 3 weeks in a row, over 18% target shares 3 weeks in a row. That's not going to change without Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Mecca Ibuka is going to be a little healthier this week, but
I would hold off on Fant though.
Yeah.
Only because the ultimate Nat is back. That is Tanner Hudson. And apparently Joe Flacco likes Tanner Hudson. So
no.
He's the not good enough to do anything for himself, but you're like, dude, why did he have to get 3 catches? You know what I mean?
Hey, Sean, there you go. If we're talking about waivers, Darnell Washington, just because he could have the 3-2-1 line, whatever it was in the end last week. Sure.
So you filter by team, you go to Pittsburgh and you look for the tight end, somebody. If you could play team tight end, that'd be the number 1 tight end in the league, wouldn't it? Team tight end on Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just give me any of them. Just one of them will go off for sure. If we're talking waivers, if you're trying to make a swap move, I mean, if you can find a way, kind of similar to what you were saying, right? Njoku and get some extra value on top to go to Hunter Henry, to go to even Evan Ingram, like somebody, like a couple of guys, tight end, man, you can play it so many different ways. So whatever you need to do to make that work this week, good luck, code red. All right, let's move on to Tanner H. 2021, 12 team start 10, super flex, 175 tight end premium. Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, Javonte, Rome, Pickens, Marv, Olave, Sutton, DK Metcalf, Hunter, Ridley, and Ferg. 6-1, third in points for. Trade away Hunter for a mid 26 first and a receiver like Wandale or Shakir. Have all my picks. Man, I sent away a Hunter to my boy Gabe. And even though I think I probably won the totality of the deal, just seeing Hunter actually like spark something and have a nice week, and BTJ, maybe just needing surgery or just a hug. I don't know which one, but seeing that happen, I was sad. I was like, man, maybe Hunter, maybe this is the time. Scott, what are you feeling here? 12 by 10, Hunter or a mid first and a receiver like a Wandale or Shakir?
So team 6-1. You don't see a lot of teams that have had Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence that are 6-1, and then also have guys like Marv and Hunter. But you also see why this team's probably 6-1. They're just rolling out CMC, Javonte, George Pickens. I mean, really, the Dallas Cowboy trio that you have scored a shit ton of points. DK's scored pretty well. Olave's scored pretty well. So I can see why this team's good. The only hesitation is this team's already 6-1. This is just a process move if you want to sell Hunter, and more importantly, I think if you can do more with that first. What this team's probably missing is I could see where that running back advantage with one of the two you has, if that at all becomes a little shaky, all of a sudden we're needing capital to throw at a running back. If that's your thought here, I can live with a receiver room, Shane, of Rome, Pickens, Marv, Olave, Sutton, DK. I mean, Ridley doesn't even count. Wandale doesn't even count. Can I get a second instead of one of those guys in the trade? I'd rather do that and just have capital to throw to fill the running back spot or even the quarterback spot that I might need to do later. But we have plenty of receivers here. I mean, they're not a lot of sexy ones. Like Hunter is the one chip that I think you could move in a deal. Let's say he comes out in week 9 and has another great game. All of a sudden you're going, can I add a first to Hunter to get, Jahmyr Gibbs? You know what I mean? Like that's how quickly he could get into that range. But I'm fine doing this if I can get a first and a second. I don't need a Wandale or Shakir on this team. They would immediately be my wide receiver 7. No thanks.
So just, we're on the Hunter kick. What's the difference between Hunter and Rashee Rice? Coming off of Hunter's the Bonanza week. He's had 2 Bonanza weeks, right? Or at least he's had a couple flashes. Like there was the one week where he had the 40 or 50 yard reception where we all creamed over ourselves. And then last week,
this was the first, usage and he was the guy, so.
And they didn't play him on defense, right? That was part of it.
Minimalist.
He was a minimalist.
I'm just looking at the old Dynasty Daddy right now. Travis Hunter in a second for Rashee Rice. Travis Hunter in 2 seconds for Rashee Rice. Hunter in a first for Rashee Rice. Gadsden, Hunter, and Thornton for Rice.
Wow.
So
I don't know if you want to be adding Gadsden. He ain't a throw-in. All right. Anyway.
No, the Hunter's the throw-in if Gadsden's in the deal. So there's a gap, I guess, right? But That would be something. Yeah. If I have that Hunter and I'm on this team where I'm already this deep at wide receiver, I agree, Scott. Like I like Wandale, I like Shakir. They're not helping me on this roster. They're going to muddy that water more. What else can I do to actually upgrade that? Right? What can I add to Hunter to go? And is this the week to do that? Maybe, right? Maybe. But Tanner,
he's off.
Yep, he is off. Okay, Exemplar FF 12 team start 10 super flex 0.75 tight end premium and a 0.25 first down bonus. We got Allen and Hurts. Yeah, that's a great combo in a 0.25 first down. Darnold, CMC, Mason, Jones, Mixon, JSN, Adams, Godwin, Dobbs, Judy, Goddard, Ertz, and Waller. One of the tanking teams is selling Rice, but is only selling for 2 firsts. The team has the highest points with a 5-2 record. He has 2 firsts. One is currently the 104 with the team sitting at 2-5, and the other will be a late first. Would you make that move on this team, Shane? 12 team, start 10.
Wait, go back to 2. Where the hell was the deal?
Oh, sorry. Rice for 2 firsts. One is 104, one's late.
So 104 and let's say 110. I mean, that's the price. It's the price. I don't know that I want to do it. I hate trading 2 firsts for any player. Like I always try to cheap out. Is there something else I can add besides a first? Here's Matthew Golden. Would you like Matthew Golden instead of this first? And can I get a third back while we're at it?
He'd have to create Matthew Golden with a genie on this team because he's not on this roster.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
Can I throw Sam Darnold? That was the first thing that I looked at this team. Yeah. That is being absolutely wasted on this team to the point where this is the type of team to trade can I get Daniel Jones for a shit ton of picks and give up Jalen Hurts and then go make a deal to upgrade? You know what I mean? Like this is the type of team where you've probably wasted. And Sam Darnold's not great. What is he like? QB 19, 15? So like he's not awesome, but he's an asset that probably will have some stability. But you haven't gotten any of his points most likely. So he's just extra. You know what I mean? I don't need to hold a backup quarterback that people would value at a first. So my late first and Darnold. How about I throw in? What can we throw in, Shane? We give you Darren Waller.
Darren Waller.
Chris Godwin. I'll give you Chris Godwin. How about that?
I don't imagine that they're taking rookie picks and Chris Godwin just because they don't go together. It's like
but you know what?
Spaghetti and
that's a flaw though. If I'm willing to sell Rashee Rice and I'm willing to get Sam Darnold in a first, and you're willing to give me Chris Godwin for free, Ty, how many times have you seen the rebuilder doesn't want Chris Godwin, and then 2 weeks later, every contender wants Chris Godwin because he's a wide receiver 2 on a great team? I just take them for free. But that's how you get a deal like this done. You throw them Godwin, Darnold, and a first. You get Rashee Rice and a running back, Robinson, someone like that. And you just keep chugging on. I'd rather do that than give up 2 firsts.
Again, our friend Dynasty Dad at the trade database. Rashee Rice for Jonathan Brooks in a first smash. Rashee Rice for a first and 2/3. Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks.
Jonathan Brooks is still being used as.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Bill in a first for Rice.
Bill in a first. Bill, come on, guys. Bill has
so it's not 2 firsts, really. The price on Dynasty Daddy is not. It's a first and some like stuff that could be worth close to a second, maybe.
There are a few 2 firsts straight up, but yeah, I think if you can duct tape that value to a first,
yes,
like a Judy, a Mason, something like that, something that you can actually move it forward. That's the deal I'm looking for. 2 liquid firsts. That's tougher, but that is probably the price that I'm looking for if I'm trying to sell that Rice, especially on a 5-2 team. I held this long and I'm 5-2 with Rice. That's an anomaly from what we heard.
Based off what was it? Yahoo put the tweet out. Yeah. It was like 114% of the Rashee Rice teams were 0-16 or something. Yeah. That's crazy.
100%. Yeah. All right. We got a little over 10 minutes left. We don't really got to rush too much, but just, hey, be on alert. We're at the end of the show here, so lock in. Mr. B, 997, 12x11 Superflex, no tight end premium. It's a 3-4 team, but he's 3rd in points. Lost Burrow, sent Burrow, Marv, Tootin, Otten, and Tank Dell for Lamar, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, and Tez Johnson. He wanted Gadsden, but I was able to hold on to him. Did this on Wednesday. Good work not moving Gadsden in this deal. Shane, Tez Johnson, is it still your kid's favorite player?
He is.
Yeah.
I was excited to tell him that he's kind of been showing out. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's
Excellent.
partly because my kid's bigger than him. My 13-year-old would absolutely, well, he'd never catch him because he's kind of slow and oafish.
Did you see where he said his playing weight is actually less than what he weighed in at?
Yeah, I believe it. And now, mind
his
you, I got
weight's like in the low 140s, high
So,
130s.
Like, I got to interview.
Wild.
Yeah, I got to interview him when I was about, I don't know, we'll say 15 pounds heavier than I am now. And if I would have like fallen over on that kid, like he wouldn't have made it to the draft. He is a very, very skinny dude, but look, you got to hit him to hurt him, and they can't hit him. So,
yeah. So Lamar, Adams, Keenan, Tez for Burrow, Marv, Tootin, Otten, and Dell. I see a lot of points on one side. I see some hope plays on the other. This is a directional deal. Shane, what are you thinking here?
So give me Lamar over Burrow without a doubt. Adams, I guess in theory, Marv is more valuable than Adams, right? Sure. Tootin, Keenan, Tess. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with the bottom. Lamar, Adam. I mean, Lamar really brings the room together. You know what I mean? When that's the main course. But Adams and Keenan, that's a lot of points. I know Keenan didn't do anything this week. Give you 8 points, I think it was. But no, I like this. I'll do this. Look, I like Otten fine enough. I can't believe people are still using Tank. That's Tank Dell, right?
Yes.
Tank Dell. Okay. People are able to use Tank Dell as a trade piece. I am proud of you. That's like whoever used Jonathan Brooks. Like good work. I wouldn't even think to use those guys, but
yeah, what sealed that deal for you when you were rebuilding, Shane? It was Cade Otten and Tank Dell, right?
Tank Dell was
had to get those two pieces.
That it feels like when people never mind. It doesn't matter why you took Tank Dell. It doesn't. But no, I like the Lamar Adams Keenan test side. I really do. I think that's a really good. It's a really good deal. Look, Marv could eventually turn into what we thought he might be. I got a feeling it's not going to be in Arizona, or it's not going to be under this offense with this quarterback.
I feel like you were about to say something really diabolical, so I appreciate you not getting us taken off the air there. But Dorf does fantasy.
Dorf,
we got a super flex full PPR league, first year out of the startup, 10 team, start 11. Traded Hurts, Woody, and a 28 second for Purdy, Jacoby, a late 26 and 27 first, and an early 26 third. As a rebuilder, do y'all think this was a good tier down move? Scott, 10 team. We talk about, one of the elite quarterbacks, or, maybe faded a little bit in a 10 teamer, 10 by 11. Hurts, Woody in a 28 second. You get 2 first in a 10 team league. So guaranteed 110 or higher. Purdy, Jacoby, and an early third on a rebuilder. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, you basically got a lot of value back for Jalen Hurts. I don't care about the other pieces all that much. I mean, I'd take Woody in a second over Jacoby and what was it, a third?
Yeah.
But those pieces are more of like, I only want Woody Marks because I think I could do more with him just because he's young and people like running backs maybe a little more than receivers. But if you wash those out, it's like, okay, I downgraded Hurts for Purdy and 2 firsts. It is a 10-teamer, so the quarterbacks matter less. It is a 10-teamer, so the elite quarterbacks probably matter a little bit more. But I'm fine with it. As long as you have a plan. I mean, I know Dorf probably has a plan. We've seen some of his other teams. Like, he's just amassing shit. And so that's the goal here. Like, this probably is one of many deals, and we know that he's probably knows what to do when he gets a lot of the stuff, how to go start doing the other way. So I'm good with it. That's fine.
100%. If you call that Purdy and 2 first for Hurt, I don't think anyone really blinks one way or the other on that. And then I will give up, I'll eat the L on the Woody in a second for Jacoby in a third if that's what gets the deal through. So I don't mind it at all, Dorf. Shane, JJK asks, would you trade Dart for Jacobs straight up?
No. Well, let me check. It's a super flex, I assume, right?
I assume. Yes.
Okay. In 1 QB, yes. Yes, I would. In 1 QB. I'm not doing that in super flex. Dude, Dart, first of all, has had 3 really high scoring games. And people absolutely love the dude. Like, absolutely loved the dude. It's funny how everyone hated him before the season, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, people absolutely love the guy. They almost want him to do well because he's fun, right? He's fun. We like fun. He's running around like a doofus, doing doofus things, and it's cute. He goes into the concussion tent. So it's like once a week he does that. But no, I'm not moving Dart for Jacobs, not at all. Hopefully they get him to like calm down a little bit with that, so he doesn't end up down that road. But no, I'm not moving Dart for Jacobs. I need a lot more than that for for Dart.
Yeah, I would rather my quarterback not be in the blue tent if I can help it.
Right.
Scott, do you disagree at all on that?
No, I think you can do different stuff with Dart. I mean, this could be a team where it's like I've tried to move a quarterback, I can't. I don't want to move the ones that I want to keep, so I want to move Dart. So, but yeah, this feels like you're just settling.
Fair enough. All right, well, then let me come back to you from AO Junior. 10-team start 9, PPR, Superflex, 0.5 tight end premium. Trade Ladd McConkey, get Ken Walker and Oronde Gadsden. Then trade Fannin and Chase Brown to get Jacobs. 2 deals here, 10 by 9, 0.5 tight end premium. So first deal, Scott, Ladd, get Ken Walker and Gadsden.
Oof. They haven't really talked about Gadsden much. He's a tough one because typically I would say this is actually the type of deal I'd want to do to get a guy like Ladd in a shallow league. I kind of know what he is, but Shane, there's a world where Gadsden's just as good or better than Ladd, and they're on the same team. So, but you know what? It is a 10 by 9. The first trade, their player takes. If you're really convicted on Gadsden, then don't do it. But otherwise, if it takes a running back like Walker and then something else to get Ladd, and then I can turn around and I don't need to do that second deal, honestly. But if I really want to, they're fair prices. I don't care about the tight ends here, honestly, in a start 9. Like the tight ends have to be so good. That's the only I want to hear from Shane because we talked about Gadsden this morning on the morning drive. Like that's the only thing that draws hesitation here is if you think Gadsden can be an elite tight end, then he is one of the few that matters in a 10 by 9. If he's not, like Harold Fannin, I have no problem trading him away. He's been fine, but like nothing screams like, oh my gosh, he's going to be an elite weapon in a great offense anytime soon. So it's really that first deal. What do you think, Shane?
I talked about Oronde Gadsden on the drive, like you said. I'm buying in. I don't want to parrot what I said this morning, but like Puka vibes is what I said in Follow the Volume 2 weeks ago. This week, I just talked about how what he's doing is pretty much unprecedented for a rookie tight end. He's absolutely smashing balls.
And you're paying the iron price, right? Like you're paying a first plus to get him. Like this is some conviction, which is few and far between typically from this group where we're like, I'm in on a player, you know?
I'm definitely all in on Oronde Gadsden, but by the same token, I think we've seen Ladd reassert his dominance in that offense. Where maybe it will be Gadsden and McConkey going forward, and then Trey Harris sprinkle it in when Keenan Allen goes away, and then QJ. I don't know if you looked at Trinity since week 6, 7, and 8. QJ doesn't even have a name anymore. He's just a dot. It's kind of a shame. I probably wouldn't do this deal. I'd absolutely find any way that I could, though. What else could I do to get Gadsden off of this dude? Because I'm 100% in on him. It's not the Gadsden part. It's the Ladd. You know what I mean? But it's close enough that Ken Walker doesn't matter, quite frankly. In a 10
would you trade Fannin or Ken Walker and Chase Brown to get Gadsden?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If
just try that, right? Just go right to you're not going to get Jacobs, but you end up with. Essentially, you're just circumventing 2 deals and turning it into one. Fannin and a running back for Gadsden. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I would do that.
Perfect. Is it to kind of get like the Fannin value from 2 weeks ago? Just copy paste that with Gadsden and let's move it forward and probably get the better offense in the short term.
It's like if Fannin was on like the Chiefs, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, it's not. I like Fannin. He's been fine, but it's hard to look at his environment and his situation and go, man, that's just going to get fixed. It hasn't been fixed in our lifetimes. And nothing screams like, oh, they're going to turn it around in 2026. It's going to be totally different, you know?
Until old Shatter comes in and changes the script in Cleveland. All right. Last one. Easy Poker Matt, 12 team start 11 PPR league, 2.25 tight end premium, currently in first place. Traded Nico, Mason Taylor, and a fourth for Olave, Otten, and a second. Was this a good deal on a competing squad? Scott, you talked about Olave. I listened. I like the usage he's getting, and it showed on the field last week. Olave, Otten, wide open spaces in that Tampa Bay offense right now. Olave, Otten, a second for Nico, Mason Taylor, and a fourth, and a 12 by 11, 2.25 tight end premium.
I don't like it, Matt. 2.25. If you told me I desperately need to win this week and I obviously don't have Nico or Mason Taylor, then I could live with it. But I'm in first place, right? And I know Mason Taylor's on the Jets, but Cade Otten, before they had 28 injuries, wasn't even used. So I don't even necessarily look at him like a tight end I can even start the rest of the year or next year. You know what I mean? And 2.25, that's a pretty heavy premium just to kind of give Mason Taylor away for a 1 week rental or a 2 week rental. Olave, I can live with a Nico to Olave swap if I got a second back. Like, I could live with that. But it feels like you panicked just for this week to set your lineup, and you didn't need to do it. You're in first place.
Yeah. Shane, do you agree with that? Because Nico, you gave away the dynasty value in the deal, but points wise, that's probably going to work for you. So Shane, where does this land with you?
No, I love Olave, and I'm so happy that he's producing again, but absolutely not. I'm not trading Nico Collins and Mason Taylor, and I don't care about the fourth. Quite frankly, Mason Taylor, I love Mason Taylor, but him and Cade Otten, whatever, they just cancel each other out. So basically, it's Olave and a second for Nico. I'm not doing that. You are definitely just throwing in the hat. That's not a term. Whatever. You're just giving up on Nico when you do this. I like Olave, but find another way to do it.
The only reason I don't like doing this, Ty, is I think because we've all been there, right? We look at our lineup and we're like, man, I got a lot of holes this week. I need to win to get the bye or to beat that other team that I'm competing with. But I've just been around this game long enough where sometimes certainly go out and try to buy an Otten for cheap. Go out and try to buy fillers. I have no problem throwing thirds, 2/3, a third and a fourth to buy a 1 week starter because I need to win a matchup. But I don't want to do a deal like this because, literally, I'm probably looking at waivers and I'm like, man, I don't really want to start any of these guys on waivers. Would it shock you if Tanner Connor has as many catches as Otten and a 2.25 and you're like, okay, I could have just thrown him in and prayed and gotten 11 points and Otten got 15, and it wasn't worth giving up the dynasty value to do something that I don't want to say it can't help you, but it's not guaranteed to work.
Yeah, exactly. And you're on the first place team, right? So, you're not, I don't think you're desperate yet to really need to win a week right now, right? So I don't need to do this, especially if I think the windows on Nico, Mason Taylor are going to be there. I don't hate the return. It's just maybe not how I want to do right now. But maybe you're sitting there and you're like, if I win this week, that's what really sets me apart and I feel better. All right, man. You're going to know your team best. So good luck on that one. But gentlemen, that is it. We are through all the questions and need to shout out the people. We got Sean W, Jay Lau, Cam Frost, Alec Malam, Boyan, Dylan Ibnsteiner, Tanner H, Exemplar, Mr. B, Easy Poker Matt, Code Red, AO Jr., JJK, and all of you. Thank you so much. We are the Dynasty Deal Show. We'll see you next week. We out of this thing. Peace.